What's popular, YouTube? Another day, another demo. Now, today I have been up because I was streaming all throughout the morning. Woke up at 4 a.m. to watch the games, and the games have been fantastic. But one thing that's been on my mind, okay, for the last 48 hours has been Copenhagen Flames. Wow, what a team. And we saw them play against Big. We saw them play against Heroic. 3-0 their group, win a best-of-3 decider versus Heroic, who have actually moved on to lose a best-of-3 to Entropic, who are now playing a decider match when they were in place to get the 3-0 kickstart right into the next stage of the major. It's Copenhagen Flames to take that. They've enjoyed themselves a little drink as they deserve. They got days off. They can go for that. Congratulations to them. This video is going to be talking and comparing their CT sides of Nuke, which I found to be the absolute most impressive part of any of their maps and any of their games. And I think a lot of their CT sides were actually really great. But when I saw this one round versus Big that I'll talk about, the second round of the video, that's when I kept, my eyes were glued. Okay, I wanted to know more about this team, wanted to know more about the setups. So I made a video here to compare Copenhagen Flames CT side Nuke versus Big versus Copenhagen Flames CT side Nuke versus Heroic, who I feel put up a better fight, okay? So it's both to highlight how good Copenhagen Flames were versus Big, but also to show what it would look like when they're challenged a little bit more and taken to level 2 and level 3. So without further ado, hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah, that's it. Enjoy the video. Enjoy the video. If you'd like to support my CSGO content, please support my one and only sponsor, DJ Esports. They allow me to upload way more. Sign up on DJ Esports IO to immediately participate in the World Prediction Series. Join the DJ Esports Discord for more information and an 800 DJT bonus upon contacting DJ Modmail. People who sign up can also get 400 each week for sharing DJ posters on social media. Also, deposit bonus for World Stage 2. Use promo code DJEX50 for a 50% deposit bonus up to 200 USDT. Thanks for listening and enjoy the video. Okay, we're jumping into round number 3 of Copenhagen Flames versus Big, and this is to highlight some of the great CT setups that Copenhagen Flames is. They caught my eye with these setups, okay? So let's look at the CT side. 3 MP9s, 2 M4s to work with on the first gun round of the game. And of course on Nuke, a lot of Nuke has to do with outside. Plain and simple. Almost every round the T's are going to try to show some presence here, throw a variety of smokes, try to implore some mind games. And I think this is a round where we can witness and take a look and get a window into how good the setups are for the Copenhagen Flames. So we can see here that we've got 3 CTs building a great connection. Nobody really overlapping. Nikodos and Roy are in a position now where they get pushed out of their spot. But look what happens. Roy from the back hits a kill. He's the loose piece in the round. Nikodos immediately hides. And then Jabby can come into play. That's a hit right in the ribs. And then as Roy goes down, Nikodos activates and he's playing for himself. He will take down Searson. And that is the first kind of oppressive outside setup that we see from Copenhagen Flames. That was just so wonderful. Okay, so this round is actually my personal favorite of the bunch, okay? This was the reason that I made the video. This round for Copenhagen Flames, we see again what they can do with a lot of information that I think is absolutely amazing to watch here on CT sides, and not just on Nuke. They do it on a number of maps. So we've got, again, a significant amount of control, at least information here, where we've got Roy spotting from Secret and making sure they can't cross into Secret, even if they're denied a little bit of vision. And we've got a variation of outside smokes that's going to put some pressure on Nikodos to have to look at and think about a number of angles. So right now, he's worried about a lurk. We know Tabson is the player who on T-side Nuke is going to find a way to lurk outside, whether that's get into mini or wrap over towards heaven. And Nikodos is being brave about the way he's approaching this, but he is standing his ground, and he also takes the risk of actually spotting all the way back into their spawn. So with this info, you can see that Nikodos still seems to be paranoid of the idea that a lurk could come through, and they seem to be convinced, specifically off of these nades, because later we'll see sometimes he does rotate in through ramp or, you know, make a move to another part, maybe up into heaven, that he's super convinced this is coming. So he tries to run away, bait some attention towards him, and look, he has brought Tabson forward. And now Nikodos, sitting up in heaven, is being very persistent about this information, and I need to call a pause for a second, okay? Nikodos spots Tabson, and I just want to take a look at what the setup and adjustment here is for Copenhagen Flames as Nikodos dives into upstairs and gets into a very powerful angle into Hut. Immediately, instead of thinking about fighting outside, he gets into this spot. And now take a look at what happens upstairs, okay? Hooksy says, Jabby, I can't watch for them to come in through mini. So Jabby drops down into the site to watch Heaven. Hooksy stays here on a powerful angle towards Sweeky. Nikodos grabs the Hut frag, and then all of a sudden Roy pops up from the vents, and everybody combines for the last kills. 3 players stay alive here from Copenhagen Flames, and I have to say, this is the reason that I made this video. It's so beautiful to watch adjustments like these, especially considering it comes off the back of a very deliberate move from Nikodos to take that spot outside Heaven, but not try to finish the fight himself. Instead, encourage the execute to come towards them and cover every single one of their fights from a CT favored angle. All right, so here is going to be another great position that Copenhagen Flames find for themselves, okay? Roy is throwing a smoke and nade set that will allow him to take presence outside. Nikodos is going to spot to make sure that nobody can come in behind him, and Roy can have a field day out here and try to catch Tabson coming through the smoke, who's normally the guy who will come outside, see if somebody's spotting on the top of Silo. And in this spot, he calls for the flash. Nikodos is sitting out here holding his spot, making sure they can't cross. And suddenly, they time it right. And guess who's out here to eat it? Tizian, man down. And with that kill, I want to remind you that it's not just a kill. It's everything you see around the kill. There are no other players there. So this entire investment from Big is almost for naught. And it ends up being a play that goes towards downstairs and ultimately is successful for Big as they 3v4, get in the site, and do very well to kill Nikodos and to trade out favorably. But this position that was set up was wonderful. And actually, at the end of this round, we have a really nice try from Jabby. I don't want to spoil it. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it, but why don't we go ahead and take a look at this position. But I wanted to bring attention to the number of different ways that Copenhagen Flames approach outside control, and we're very hard to read in that regard. You also see a beautiful display of mechanical skill from the players on the team here as Jabby tries to take down Searson, and very smart after it's called that Searson's dark to go for a pre-fire, but Searson just too clutch with it and ends up finding that win. Okay, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting. So we're going to take a look at now Copenhagen Flames in a few rounds versus Heroic. And this was a turning point in the game. It was 5-5, and I felt like Heroic actually broke some ground. But this was the round where I feel like they learned, okay? Because Copenhagen Flames, I feel like, were especially prosperous on the rounds that were slowed down. Whenever they got a good amount of information and rounds were very slow, they knew what to do. Their protocols were so effective that Big had trouble with them. So let's take a look at a round where Heroic do something similar to a round where we had one with Big, where they try to go for a lurk. Now, the style of lurk, the approach is a little bit different here. And Refresh is even going to get caught out from Roy, who's sitting in mini. Nikodos is not outside this round. He starts inside of Secret, and Roy will get Refresh on this play. Okay, and this allows Heroic to squeeze and get some positional compensation. Okay, as we like to say in the chess world. Me and my 1,000 rated chessboard, okay, in all my terminology. But this is a spot where they at least get something for it. But you can see it's already dire straits in this position, okay? They're watching a flank, seeing if a regression will come through. Tessas has control of hell for what it's worth. But at the maximum, they've got ramp locked up. You can't plant that ramp. You still have to either take upstairs or downstairs, and they're down 4v5. Tessas is low, so things aren't looking too great. And we can see that the slow crawl is exactly where Copenhagen Flames are the strongest. They've got Xiphon down here. They have Nikodos in support, sitting on the control doors, and Xiphon is able to rotate off of that position and move into a better spot. So this round really does highlight exactly how good Copenhagen Flames are when you give them that little piece of information, especially when they win that outside knowledge. I think that's the big one. And that's big for not just Copenhagen Flames. That's not like their Achilles heel. That's every team. Outside is very important. And being dynamic about how you approach that information is everything. But now this round just crawls to a halt, right? And so at this moment, I think this is where Cadian shows his prowess as an IGL and his bravery, honestly, when it comes to the style of calling, because he comes through and he says, all right, let's skip the funny business. All right, we had a round there where we just got caught off really quickly. Let's try a fast cross outside. They go very light on grenades. Cadian's leading with the op. Of course, he has the spawn too. It's kind of like the Zywoo peak I would call on a map like Inferno, depending on your spawn. They lead, they go downstairs into secret, and they cross. And there might not be a timing called here, right? Because first of all, we had Nikodos was not spotted, did not opt from heaven, and did not see them cross, and they didn't see anybody. So as far as they know, they're safe. But now, okay, after a couple of jiggles outside, Nikodos takes a shot from inside Big Garage. His rotation, remember this, when they hear this op shot, his rotation to Heroic is either earliest down the squeak event, most dangerously wrapping through secret, even though there's a player sitting back there, so that's probably not going to happen, or getting to ramp to try to stop them. So what do they do with this knowledge? They actually just decide to walk the entire way downstairs, believing that they have a timing. And this is the position, again, to highlight that even though Copenhagen Flames have been ice cold on the CT sides with all their fantastic protocols, that Heroic still found a way to break a timing. And we'll see this door swing open, and that for once, Copenhagen Flames are not in a position to try to defend. They have Zyphon downstairs, absolutely no other CTs to support, and that's how you know that they got hoodwinked. So now we've got everybody in great positions for the downstairs take, and it's down here to guard the vents, White Knight the vents, okay? Defending the Knights, defending the vents like he is a tier 3 sub of said vents, and making sure no rotation can come down. And this is already just such a lost position for Copenhagen Flames that they are choked out so hard that even in the 4v5, they have to forfeit the round. So a really, really beautiful go of it, and they even come through with this enormous lurk late into the round just to guarantee it. They get all the info they need with 20 seconds left and camp out now the last and final vulnerable positions of the round. So a breakthrough round here for Heroic. Skipping forward to just the next round. Now we've got a slow crawl here from Heroic into map control around heaven. And now there is a bit of a mind game that's been won in terms of conditioning here. Heroic have to be feeling pretty good about that, because now even if Copenhagen Flames can't officially call a timing on good faith, they have to respect the idea that Heroic might be able to walk out somewhere. They're not afraid to try it, and that it won them around very cleanly just now. And I think that is, once again, the magic of Heroic in these positions, where they're able to and confident enough to take a risk where I think a lot of teams would not be. So in response to this setup, of course, we have Roy once again in secret, which we know is a very potent way to defend against outside crosses, because if you're here and they throw smokes, you have the ability to peek. But we're going to see what happens here as Heroic are very careful about their approach, even though they're going slowly. And they've got two crossing, but it's a bit disjointed. And this is by design, okay? You want to try to catch a timing. Someone peeking up late on the stairs, someone peeking up late here. Yes, they throw the molly. This disarms Roy, and he thinks, okay, we can chill now. But look at Sound. He has this covered completely. He's waiting for this opportunity. And with that, they sneak into Big Garage control, which is going to put immense pressure on the CTs. And we see Refresh trades glances with somebody inside of heaven, and Zyphon is trying to figure out what to do with this information. And now Nikodos has rotated himself into an awkward spot downstairs. Now he can hope for the gamble. They don't know that he's here. But again, from the 4v5, Heroic do a great job of pressing their advantage. And look how fast this split comes on. Beautiful flash into the site. Immense with the trading and the spacing from Heaven and Mini. And even though there's 10 seconds on the clock, the split is just too powerful. And I think this is Heroic showing that there are cracks in Copenhagen's Flames games with how they have their CT setups. Of course, there is some element of luck and timing with all these different moves that take place from both from Heroic's perspective when they are in a game where it's so close and they start off at a round deficit. But to find those openings and to capitalize in the way they did, I think was cool. And I think what we saw with Big was a lack of the ability to take Copenhagen Flames to level 2 and to level 3, right? Copenhagen Flames were happy to copy and paste a lot of their different setups in those first few rounds that we saw. And because of that, Big were just kind of at a loss, and it became more and more obvious what they wanted to try to do. And you got to see Nico Doss got more and more confident about what information he could take, how they could defend against outside. And yeah, I mean, their game is very dynamic, so I'm not surprised that Big had trouble. But here is both Copenhagen Flames showing some weakness in these rounds versus Heroic, even though they actually won the series and upset them, and also what they look like when they are given a good amount of map control and they can hold on to information and they stay in the 5v5. That's when they're the absolute strongest. And so beautiful stuff all around from all these teams. So not to highlight one in specific, but just to illustrate and try to do comparative video to discuss what it looks like when one team faces two others. And I think that's something that would be really good for the future to try more demos on. But for now, just want to make this video to, again, highlight some of the teams of the major right now, because there's some impressive and cool stuff going on and some new stuff as well that I like to see. So hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, like, subscribe, and turn notifications on, of course. Very low percentage notifications on this channel. We would really appreciate it. Loud Nation would really appreciate it. And yeah, for Color Cast of the Year, Analytical Cast of the Year, please vote for me. Please vote for me. Last call. If I lose, it's because you let me lose. Just want to let you know that. Be safe, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.